Tax. Taxation. Paying your tax. Crippled with tax. Not paying tax. These are descriptors and words that we hear in everyday life. Tax affects every one of us here to varying degrees and in different shapes and forms. Why do we pay tax? Well, at one side of the spectrum it can be argued that there is a legal obligation. It is the law that you pay your tax. You walk out into the streets of Limerick, you ask a normal passerby, an everyday person, why they pay tax, and they will tell you, well, I pay in because I get something back. What do they get back? They get a help up in times of need, they get services, and they get infrastructure. And yet, research evidence is showing that deficiencies in tax systems are distancing people from that realization, from that happening. Taxation systems that favor select individuals, groups of individuals, and organizations are taking money out of the system that is leading in turn to a wide range of social inequalities that are keeping people off the ladder. Some of these inequalities are generational wealth. We're not able to pass on money to the upcoming generation. There is not enough money for education. There is not enough money for healthcare, and lack of access to social mobility. People just cannot get the foot on the ladder. So my research is part of an EU-funded project that looks at the impact of organisations on these people here, tax professionals. So why do we need to know how these people think? Well, how they see themselves professionally impacts not only in their everyday work, but how they see themselves in decision making. So in terms of the data from my research, I've conducted a large-scale survey that has taken in 1,100 responses from tax professionals across 58 countries, looking at accountants, lawyers, tax advisors, but also looking at people who work in small, medium and large firms across the public service, the private sector and the family-run firms. Also, I'm looking at variables such as age and gender and the size of firm that people work. So I want to know how a tax professional, a 30-year-old tax professional working in a 42nd office floor in Singapore compares with someone down in a side street in Skibbereen sharing an office with 3 different people. Tax matters. How it matters is getting to know these people, getting to know how they form their identity, how they make their decisions based on that identity, because it will go a long way in creating the imbalance in taxation. Thank you.